All right, nice. Computer's just processing. It should be open up. Presentation should be open up soon, and then we'll get started.
And while we wait, I just want to welcome all the families and students who are here tonight for our 7th grade Bloomington Online School Orientation. Your teachers and I are so glad that you're here, and we're so excited to start off our school year with some information and getting to know all of you. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Rebecca Brower. I have been in the Bloomington School District for 18 years. I started as a 6th grade teacher, moved to a Dean of Students position, and then most recently was a teacher coach at the middle and high school level. So I am very excited for my role this year as a program coordinator, which means that I'll be helping answer questions. I'll be the contact for all students and families who have questions or are having issues and need some direction. And so welcome everyone to our 7th grade orientation. Here's our agenda for tonight. Oh,
sorry about that.
That's okay. Our agenda tonight, our teachers are here. They're going to introduce themselves to you, and they're going to tell you a little bit about the 7th grade courses, the content in those courses. Then we will show you a supply list. Parents and students, we are going to post this presentation that you're seeing, a link to it, on the Bloomington Online School webpage that you can get to through the district page. We will post this presentation as well as the supply list. So if you don't have it, if you don't get it, we're going to go by it kind of quick. Don't worry, it'll be posted for you. There will also be a live recording of the live session posted for anyone who missed this session tonight. So back to our agenda. We will do our supply list. You will find out about tech setup. Can you go back, Andrew, one more time? There it is. A day in the life of a 7th grader. You'll see your schedule and kind of what it's going to look like. We'll talk a little bit about attendance, and parents at the end, parents and students, I should say, we will have a question and answer session. So I can see a few of you are recognizing your teachers, which is so exciting. We are going to hold questions and not answer them till the end, but just know that is how you will ask questions is by commenting on the link there. So let's get started with our teacher and course introductions. And we'll start with 7th grade life science.
I don't know who you want to go, but I can chime in and do this one. So life science, 7th grade, welcome. It's all about living things this year, which is a lot different than 6th grade probably was. And our kind of like big idea is, how do these living things like make it and survive on our planet, which is pretty hostile at times. So kind of like big essential things that we cover in 7th grade are like the cells that make up your body and how they function and work together. And then once we do have whole living things, like how they all work together as big systems in our environment, and we call that ecology. We talk about how information is passed down from one generation to the next. So that's our heredity kind of unit. And then we do dive into the different systems within the human body as well. So those are kind of the big 4 things that we hit on. There's a lot more that happens throughout the year, and it all revolves around living stuff. And that's me. Well, I'm me. Slides for me. So I'm Mr. Giroux. I taught 7th grade for a long time at Oak Grove Middle School. So I'm excited to be part of this and change things up a little bit. Just some things that, I don't know, like I like doing and enjoy. So I love coffee. I'll probably have it every morning. I guarantee it. And maybe in the afternoon too. I am a big fan of frogs. I did all my undergraduate and graduate research on frogs, and I just love being outside. So it's kind of maybe why I went into like science and biology and studying life. Being outside, I like hiking, I like backpacking. So there's a picture of me in Wyoming this year. I love to mountain bike, road cycle, just anything on two wheels, motorcycling, getting out there. I have a dog. She loves going on the boat. She loves swimming. So I also like running. So it's me running the Washington, D.C. Marine Corps Marathon in October before all this COVID virus hit. And there's my daughter too. It's Cora. She's 5. So those are in no particular love order, I guess. But yeah, I also have a 5-year-old daughter. So I'll be teaching one section of 7th grade science this year.
And I have the other 2 sections. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you. And I also really enjoy being outside. I'm Mrs. McPhail. I've spent the last 6 years at Washburn Elementary. I've taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, longest in 5th grade. And so this year I'll be transitioning over to teach 6th and 7th grade science. My husband and I have 2 kids. They're both obsessed with owls. Josh is the youngest. He just turned 2 in July, and Bryce is the oldest. He'll be 4 in October. You will hear a lot about them, and since they'll be home with me, you'll probably hear them hooting in the background or something like that. So some things that I really enjoy, along with being outside, really anything, camping, hiking, canoeing. I am a big birder, so I love to go birding and add birds to my life list. I did a lot of that this summer. I have 2 bluebird trails that I monitor, and I also volunteer at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in Roseville, where I volunteer in the avian nursery and I help with baby birds. Other big things that I did this summer, I was able to get out and go camping, and I also did some gardening with my kiddos, and I helped at Washburn's. Washburn is an amazing outdoor classroom if you ever want to just need some like tranquility in your life and you want to stop by and just sit down and relax for a while. So I was over there quite a bit this summer. Zumba, reading Hatchet's one of my favorite books. I love studying phonology, and The Office is one of my favorite shows, and vegetable curry is like my chicken noodle soup. If you have a bad day, there's always vegetable curry. So we look forward to working with you guys this year for science. Let us know if you have any questions, and let's have an awesome year.
Hello, I'm Serena Campershore. Miss Hills and I will be teaching Math 7 this year. I will have 2 sections of Math 7 and she will teach 1 section of Math 7. This is just an overview of what we'll be learning this year in 7th grade math. I'm not going to read the course focus. You can read that on your own, but we're basically going to focus on the priority benchmarks in the areas of number and operation, algebra, and geometry. Students will develop multiple strategies to solve problems and also learn how to recognize connections between different skills and concepts. Next slide. This slide shows in more detail specific skills and concepts students will learn in the area of number and operation, algebra, and geometry throughout the year. You can look at this later to see the detail.
Oh, sorry, you can't hear me. I have to unmute before you can hear me. Sorry about that. I'm Elizabeth Hills. I'm going to be teaching 1 section of 7th grade math this year. I've been teaching math in Bloomington for the past 8 years at Oak Grove. So I'm excited to continue in this new format with all of you and take this journey with you. A few things about me. I'm a mom of 4 and a wife. I have my 4 little ones, as you can see, starting at 11 months up to 13 years. So busy household. Never a dull moment, lots of fun. Some of the other things I was born and raised in Minnesota, so I love everything Minnesota, all about it. I did both my undergrad and grad school through Minnesota State Mankato. And as I said, I've been at Oak Grove for the last 8 years, so I'm excited for this opportunity to see where this year takes us together. Other things, I love being outdoors, anything water, sunshine, anything related with that. I am all for it. So whatever my kids want to do, I'm up for. So that's a little bit about me. And I'm just excited to be here with you this year.
Hi again, I'm Miss Campershore. I have taught at Valley View Middle School for 14 years. I also have connections to Oak Grove and Olson. When I was a student, I attended Oak Grove for 5th and 6th grade and Olson for 7th and 8th grade. and then I graduated from Kennedy High School. After I went to the U of M and earned my licensure in K through 6 elementary education, along with 5 through 8 mathematics, I have been married to my husband for 15 years. We have 3 children. Our youngest son passed away in 2018. His name's Ezekiel. We call him Zeke. My other 2 boys are named Elias, he's 11, and Ezra, he's 6. Elias is starting middle school this year. Ezra is starting a new school this year, and he's part of the deaf and hard of hearing program within the district in which we reside. Our family is really into the outdoors. We're trying to get to all of the Minnesota state parks and also hike on all of the hiking club trails. Every single day I go on a walk with my boys. It's one of my favorite parts of my days. We usually do that in the morning, and then once in a while we go for an occasional bike ride. I love taking photos. Many of the photos you see pictured there I took, and every year I make my boys a Shutterfly book to show their entire year. And then during the rest of my relaxing time, I like to read and do yoga. I am super excited for this opportunity to teach online and looking forward to working with you this year.
Hi, I'm Mr. Urbish. I'm just going to intro kind of 7th grade social studies here for you a little bit. And then Miss Haas, who's the other 7th grade social studies teacher, will also kind of say a few things as well. But so I'm teaching 1 section of 7th grade social studies, and Miss Haas is teaching 2 sections. Some of the base course topics that we're going to deal with, I mean, it's 7th grade's kind of divided into multiple like categories of things. There's like civics and government, which is something that we focus on with Constitution, Bill of Rights, election. And then we look at a lot of U.S. history, and it's 1800 forward is kind of the idea, but again, it's always hard to get there. I always refer to it as the good, the bad, and the ugly, just because there's a lot of great stories, but there's a lot of, you know, rough stories that are out there that kind of tell us how we got where we are today. We do also do a number of things that are research-based, looking at sources, primary, secondary, looking at how you start thesis statements, how you develop research questions, organizations. Some of the base questions that we look at in terms of what the course is going to kind of ask of students is what can the past teach us about our present and help us understand what's happening now. There's so many things that are going on today that we can inform ourselves by looking at what happened in the past and why things are the way they are today. How we can be engaged citizens, what it looks like to be engaged citizens. Clearly we have an election year. This is a once every 4 years time when you can really get students interested in the process of how we choose presidents. And then lastly, how is our nation progressing toward that guiding ideal? This idea that we're all equal, but that was just an ideal, and we weren't there and we aren't there. And so the question is, where are we at? How did we get to this point? And how do we make this country better in terms of equality and who we are? So that's the overview, at least, of 7th grade social studies. Next slide. So this one's on me, and I'll just do it quick, but I am married. My wife, Paula, she's also going to be working at home along with me. She's a middle school counselor in Minnetonka. She's the 8th grade counselor there. So she's actually going to be home here too. We don't live in a real big place, so we're trying to figure out how to balance things and get things set up right. So we each have our own space, but I don't have any children, but I do have 2 cats. They will make appearances constantly, Pablo and Gemma Boo. Quick bio, I wasn't born in Minnesota, but I was born in Michigan, but I moved here when I was a little kid. I grew up in Deer River, Minnesota, which is way up north. We actually moved to a tiny town before that called Cutfoot, which was like 5 families. So northern Minnesota was where I was at, really small. I went to the University of Minnesota Duluth. I got 1 degree there, and then I actually went back and got my teaching degree. After that, I attended St. Mary's University for my master's in education. I've taught in Bloomington for 22 years now, which is crazy, but hard to think that. I started here at Bravo Middle School, which is a charter school. That's where Valley View was before it was Valley View. Valley View Middle School then since 2001, and now Bloomington Online School. So this is my third Bloomington school. In a former life, I was an archaeologist. Actually, that's where I started my degree in. I worked for the Superior National Forest archaeologist for a number of years as a student, went to field school in northern Minnesota, and then I actually worked for the University of Minnesota Duluth as a survey specialist who would go around and canoes and do all kinds of survey work in northern Minnesota for historic and prehistoric sites. Stuff I love, Comic-Con. My wife and I, it's the first time in 15 years that we didn't get to go to San Diego Comic-Con and enjoy the craziness of pop culture, but we love to travel. I have an Adidas problem, so I have a lot of very funky shoes that I like to buy, and I love coffee. Love national parks. I've been to, that's what I missed this summer, was being able to go to do those kinds of things. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys. I think it's going to be a really great year. It's just going to be kind of different, you know, that's all right. We're going to try something new. So on to Betsy.
Thanks, Greg. Oh, I'm just so excited to be here with you and to welcome you to our new Bloomington Online School program. My name is Betsy Hawes. Most recently, I was a 6th grade social studies teacher at Valley View Middle School. So some of you I see in the chat maybe recognize me, and I'm so thrilled to be able to continue with you and work with you this year as well in 7th grade. If you look at the picture in the upper left-hand corner, that's my family. Ezra is my oldest daughter. She's 7 years old, and she'll be a 2nd grader this year, excuse me. Finley is my youngest, and she is 4, and she'll be in a pre-K program this year. And we actually succumbed to the COVID puppy craze. So we adopted Gerald a few weeks ago. He's about 12 weeks old. And we're learning that it's like having a new baby in the house. So, you know, it's really been interesting to learn how to train a puppy. So just really fun to experience that with my daughters. And then my wife, Kaya, she is older than all of these people. So you don't need to know how old she is. But she's also a teacher. She's a middle school teacher in Wayzata Public Schools. And so my children, you know, they absolutely love having 2 moms who are teachers. If you can't sense the sarcasm in my voice, it's a little tough for them. A little bit about me. I grew up in Chicagoland, actually a suburb of Chicago. And I came up to Minnesota in '98 to go to the U of M for my undergrad degree. I actually got my grad degree there as well. I've been in Bloomington Public Schools for 14 years in a variety of positions. I was at Valley View Elementary for 10 years working with 2nd graders and 3rd graders. So if you went to Valley View Elementary, you might recognize me from there. I left Valley View after about 10 years to be a peer coach. So I had the opportunity to work with teachers and to support them in developing their craft. And that was really an honor and a privilege to get to know so many teachers and to learn from them as well. And most recently, like I said, I come from Valley View Middle. So I'm really thrilled to be working with middle schoolers again and to continue kind of your social studies journey with some of the 7th graders that I was able to serve last year in 6th grade. A few of my favorite things, as you can see, I'm a huge movie and music fan. We have lots of impromptu dance parties at our house. And so if you like to dance, we'll definitely get to boogie in this year for sure. I love to cook. I love to try new foods. I love to spend time. My sister has a cabin up north, so we're really privileged to be able to go and spend time up there. I love to read. I love to serve others. And I love candy. And it's just like my Achilles heel for sure. So don't ask me what my favorite candy is. That's a really complicated question, and we'll have to dig into that at some point, but come ready to share yours because I'd love to hear it. And lastly, this is one of my favorite quotes from John Lennon, and I think we could maybe all relate to this at this moment, but life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. And I know I didn't necessarily plan for this role. I didn't necessarily, know this was coming at me, but I'm so excited to have this opportunity and to be able to learn alongside you and hopefully help you to grow as students, as people. So thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. Mrs. Haas, you have to start thinking on that favorite candy. We all want to hear. So you think about it before the end of the year. I think mine is Take 5, although they are super hard to find. So anyway, my name is Ms. Makarna, and I will be teaching all 3 sections of language arts this year. We are so excited that you are here, 7th graders. I saw a comment pop up on the chat asking if students are supposed to be here. And we love that students are here. So yes, you are more than welcome to ask any questions that come to mind too as we go through the presentation. So a little bit about 7th grade language arts. The 3 kind of topics that we're going to focus on this year are literature. I have a bunch of short stories that I'm super excited to go through with you. We're going to kind of be doing some book clubs where you'll get a choice in the story that you are interested in. So we'll do lots of fun stuff with that. Writing, you'll be able to kind of draft, pre-write, publish. You'll have opportunities to even publish some of your writing along the way. And then my favorite thing actually is our media literacy section that we go through. So we'll do a lot of research and talking about different types of media, whether it's podcasts or websites or just different novels that we can find online. So I think you guys will really enjoy the year. And again, we're just so excited that you're here. And then this is just a little bit about me. So like a couple of the other teachers, I'm also coming from Oak Grove Middle School. I was there for 8 years and so excited to just start something new with this online program. So we're all learning together and gonna kind of experience this together, and I think it's gonna be awesome. So a little bit about me. The picture at the top with all of those crazy kids. So this past year, I think it went away. I can keep talking about it though. This past year, I had the chance to actually go to Japan with my dad. I went over there to run a marathon, not the Tokyo Marathon, a smaller marathon. But one of the things that we got to do while we were there is we got to meet a bunch of these kids at one of the elementary schools. So they were so sweet. None of them really spoke English, but the love that they showed to us while we were there was amazing. And then I don't think you guys, can you guys see the presentation? It went away for me.
Yep, it'll be right back. You can keep talking through it and we'll get the slide back up.
Okay. A little bit else about me. So I also love coffee. Like Mr. Giroux said, I will also be with a cup of coffee every single morning. I can't get through the day without it. And then the other pictures that you'll see once it comes back up, one of them was from a trip to Norway that I went on a couple years ago. Traveling is something that I absolutely love. And then the other one was a picture of my porch. So over quarantine, I've been able to do a little bit of work around my house. And so working on kind of finishing and repainting my porch was a fun little project to do. So a little bit about me. I'm trying to think before if I can think of anything else. Oh, yay, we got it back. So anyway, just love to be outside, love to learn. I'm actually going to St. Mary's right now to get my master's in education. So that's been a really fun experience too. So again, we're just so excited that you guys are all here and bearing with us through this technical difficulty, which will probably have many more to come. So you guys are awesome for going through it with us. Perfect. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, sorry about the wait on this. We are almost there.
Too many tabs up right now, right?
Yes.
Lots going on. And then if you guys do have any questions, you can start leaving them in the comment box. And then once we're done going through everything, we'll answer those for you.
All right, we are almost there. There we go. All right, a little review of where we are so far. All right. Thank you, Allie, for carrying us through to the next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to jump in. Miss Turner is one of our teachers. She is a special ed teacher. She is not able to be here tonight, but she did make this slide to introduce herself. So I'm going to just point a few things out. Miss Turner has been in the Bloomington district for a long time. She has 2 daughters. She loves cooking. She loves her cat. She's a health and fitness person. She's lived in New York, Florida, and Minnesota. She is so excited to be a part of this Bloomington Online School and to have this experience with you. And if we go to her next slide, Andrew.
Yeah, I think we're going to go through past the video and we can put that up when we post the
Sounds good.
presentation.
Sounds good.
All right.
So, oh.
Sorry, there we go.
So she has a small video there. You can play it when you go to the link on the Bloomington Online School Middle School homepage. But she said this year, you may see her in some of your core classes. She's going to be there to support you during instruction and with navigating expectations of the course. You may do some small work together, some one-on-one instruction. She's so excited to meet you. She's excited to be one of your teachers, and she will be reaching out individually as the team further develops caseloads for the school year. So if you have Miss Turner as your on her caseload, excuse me, then she will be reaching out to you soon. Let's see. One of our exploratory teachers is Mr. Cannon. Mr. Cannon is going to be teaching music exploration. Such a cool thing about Mr. Cannon. This picture was taken in at Beijing Amusement Park in China. It was the 900th roller coaster that he's ridden, and he's now up to 1,150 different roller coasters all over the world. He cannot wait to meet you and get to know you better. During musical explorations class, which will be one of your 3 exploratories, you will be, I'm sorry, let me start over. It's a classroom-based as opposed to performance-based. So it's a classroom-based music class where you get to study and examine music and how it's used within a culture as a form of self or cultural expression. You get to examine music from your world and use it to make connections to other cultures and time periods. Students will create a piece of music during the course and present it as you choose. And the exciting thing about this course is that it's centered around each student's experience and allows students to explore the way they relate to music in their world. So very excited to have Mr. Cannon on as a music exploration teacher. He is also the Bloomington Online School K-8 technology integrationist. So he will be working with all of us and all the students to help incorporate technology into our everyday learning. Now, I want to say something about the exploratories. There is music exploration. We also will have art and Phi-Ed. The art and Phi-Ed teachers, the hiring is in process. So as soon as we have that information, families, we will get it out to you via email, and we will have, we'll answer any questions you have about them once the information is available. So supply list for 7th grade. Here we've got your supply list. Teachers worked together to condense it down to just what you're gonna need all year for all of your classes. So just because, math says 3 subject notebook, that's because your other supplies are listed above. But these are the things you should have ready to go. This list will be posted on the BOS homepage as well as the presentation. So if you don't need to worry about writing it down or remembering right now, but this is the list that we would like you to have ready to go.
We're gonna share a little bit about technology in the program. So all students will have a touchscreen Chromebook as part of being in Bloomington Public Schools. Many of our students we know starting this year already have those devices from last year. So if you already have a device from last year, you are all set as long as it's working for you and there are no issues with it. Then you're done. So that's great. If you do not have a device, you would go to your previously scheduled middle school on September 1st and 2nd, or 2nd, for pickup between 8 and 3. And if you're new to Bloomington Public Schools, as a new student in the district, you would go to Valley View Middle School to pick up your computer. Now, that pickup will be clearly marked around how to do that. Again, we will be following safety guidelines so that it's a safe process for families. So we have kind of 3 systems that are all tied together in Bloomington. We have the Hub, we have Canvas, which is our learning management system for the online school, and we have our Google suite of applications and tools. So there's one password for all of those systems, and you can access that password by going to look it up in the Hub. You would go to Profile and then Passwords, and then you can share that password with your student. One extremely important aspect of online school, in any form this year, is internet access. And so this information is available at the web address shared there, which is the bit.ly/BPS internet. And there are 3 ways that we can help families get access to the internet. And one is that there's 2 $10 a month options for eligible families. Families can also apply for the Education Foundation of Bloomington to pay for Internet Essentials, broadband. And then 3, you can ask the district to check out a hotspot, which would provide internet access. Our recommendations would be the option 1 and 2, and then option 3 of hotspot is using that as a backup if for some reason the other 2 do not work out. So access to the internet, stable access to the internet is extremely important for school this year in any format because of how much of it will be done online. Okay, so we're going to share about the schedule. This is a look at the schedule from a student view. So our day launches for students at 9 o'clock with a class called Launch. And it is a synchronous session that happens each day. So teachers will be meeting with their launch group, and it serves as a sort of homeroom or advisory. And in that course, there would be doing a number of things. And the first and most important one is community building. And then we'd be looking at developing important skills for navigating online learning spaces, so navigating Canvas and the other tools that we use. And then also, of course, as the year picks up, really staying connected as a group around how are students doing, are they progressing in their classes, and then also are they getting access to the materials that they need throughout the year, of course. But really that launch part is going to be community building, relationship building. That teacher will get to know your students really well throughout the year. And we're really excited to start our day that way each day. At 9:30, there's a shift to the first 2 core classes between 9:30 and 11:30. Now that schedule will be made very clear based on the calendar that exists within Canvas. And so if there is a synchronous session, which we'll be talking about in a moment, that would be clear within the calendar, and students would be able to kind of go through their agenda for their day. And then there's a lunch break, so lunch and active brain break. The last session we did like this, there was a question about students getting together virtually during that lunchtime and being able to socialize while they eat, which is a great idea. And we're happy to take that idea and think about the creative ways that we can continue to bring students together. There's a drop-in time, and that's really a time where students can reach out to teachers. They can schedule times with the teacher. They can reach out in the moment around, oh, are you available right now? Can we talk through this problem I'm having with whatever class or assignment? And then at 1 o'clock, we shift to the third and fourth core class. And then after that, at 3 o'clock, we have the exploratory period. And again, drop-in time for the core content teachers. Now, Wednesday looks a little bit different. Really, that's a signal within our program where we want to spend really intentional time with teacher feedback to students on their work. So you would have teacher check-in time there. In the afternoon, we would have independent work time and then base group collaboration time. So where students are meeting together through Google Meet working through assignments for their class, checking in with each other, and then returning work, of course, back to the teacher from that. And then drop-in time again at the end of the day. So when we talk about online school and online learning, there are two words that are used quite often, synchronous and asynchronous. So synchronous is any learning that's happening in the moment, in real time. We use Google Meet as our tool for synchronous learning. And then asynchronous learning is learning that occurs through online channels without real-time interaction. And I see Seesaw there, and that's actually an elementary tool. We use Canvas for our synchronous instruction. Sorry about that mistake there. Synchronous time is not teacher lecture time, and it's not teacher whole group time necessarily either. We really look at synchronous time as active learning time, small groups, working with small groups, potentially working with individual kids, and really thinking about how can we use that synchronous time in the ways that research shows us that it's most useful and effective. Synchronous time is morning meeting, or essentially that launch period, community building, relationship building, really using breakout groups to get groups, small groups or smaller groups of students working, socializing, some games and fun. Of course, we want to have it within that launch kind of period, especially. And then asynchronous time, we look at teacher video as really the core where direct instruction will happen, or where teachers are sharing a process that students would need to know for an assignment. And that's because then students can really navigate that and use it to the best of their ability around, oh, I can pause it, I can go back, I can listen again if I'm confused. So asynchronous instruction through video is really that instructional piece there. And then independent practice, reflection, feedback obviously comes over asynchronously. And then, of course, lots of assignments. Collaboration can also be done in an asynchronous fashion. Attendance?
Andrew, do you want me to take
this?
this?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so let's talk about attendance. Each day you will log into the hub and you will check in. It's a check-in button that you'll click. This will be part of our daily routine in our launch or our advisory class. So it's something that we will help walk you through, and then you'll get used to doing it. Parents and guardians, if you have a student who is not going to be participating that day, please call to report the absence to the attendance line here. Again, we'll have this posted so that it's more easy for you to find, but we will ask, just like at the other middle schools, just like you're used to have you call in should your child not be able to attend that day. So our expectations around attendance. Students are expected to participate in the synchronous meetings. And if a student is unable to attend a meeting, we'd like you to communicate with the teacher ahead of time to arrange for an alternate instruction plan. If a student unexpectedly misses a meeting, just communicate with the teacher to make arrangements. We know that there will be things that come up, but we also have an expectation that students are in these live lessons groups and participating in those as well. The asynchronous expectations are that effort should be put forth on all the asynchronous daily tasks. Those tasks will include things like academic instruction, practice, reflection. If your child is having a hard time completing daily tasks, please contact the student's teacher, and we will help support your student as it comes. So just take that into consideration as far as our expectations. And we understand that this is a new format for everyone. So we will ease into our attendance policies from the beginning of the year. We have supports in place for teaching your student how to be an online learner. And we also, like I said before, understand that things come up, unexpected things. And ultimately, we are so excited to partner with you and your child to make this schedule work. So communication is going to be really important. Just knowing how it's going, what do you need from us, and let's keep those lines open. And so now we're going to have our teachers come back on camera, and this is time for a family question and answer. If you'd like to chat your questions in, we will take them as they come. I see there's already a question about how much reading will be in the language arts class.
Yeah, I can answer that one.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so great question, because I know reading and language arts are kind of together now this year. So this summer, we actually had a chance to talk with all of the reading teachers and kind of incorporated those standards into the language arts curriculum. So there will be a lot of opportunities for reading. We'll do a couple of novels as a full group together, and then there will be a few different opportunities, probably 3 throughout the year, for some book club studies where students can choose a book of their choice. I think I mentioned this earlier, and then they can kind of discuss what they like about the book and their thoughts about the book with different classmates. So lots of opportunities for reading this year. Good question.
And students, feel free to submit your questions as well. We're happy to answer whatever you have, and we've got looks like about 8 to 10 minutes to do so.
Can I just say thanks for the positive comments? Y'all are making my night. I really appreciate it. A Betty family, I'm looking forward to working with you again.
All right, so we have a question heading our way. There it is, around how many GT kids are clustered together in 7th grade. So I don't know the exact count on that, but that's a reference to that if students receive gifted and talented services, they are clustered together in their classes. That allows us to collaborate with the GT department and really work to think about the needs of students who are served through that program traditionally, and then that collaboration will be key throughout the year.
There's a question here. How will we pick up books, and are there textbooks?
Yeah, so go ahead, Rebecca. Yeah. All right, so there is a question around materials when you're in an online school. And so what you will see is that as we begin the year, we will announce kind of material pickup time around books, textbooks, unless there, of course, is an online version of textbook that an instructor chooses to use. And that will be communicated with multiple kind of times or a window similar to the technology pickup that we just announced earlier. I see a question from the audience here around if it's okay for students to meet up physically and work together if the parents are okay with it. Rebecca, you want to respond to that?
Sure. So that is a family decision. And we know that there are some students that we've heard of that have some plans to work together, which is great. But that is completely up to you and your family about how you feel about getting together and working through your schoolwork each day. Maybe this is a good time too to talk a little bit about base groups. I know Andrew mentioned it briefly, but base groups will be groups that you'll form students to work virtually together. You will have a core group that gets together and maybe works on projects, works through problems. So you'll be meeting lots of different kids, even if you aren't physically together. And we're going to make sure that you have opportunities and the access to be able to work together in these base groups.
I see a question there around plans for Bloomington Online School beyond the 2021 school year. So as we entered into this, designing this school as obviously on an accelerated timeline because of our response to the pandemic, we also held in mind that this is a direction that we've been headed. We've had an online high school program within each high school for going on 4 years now, where students have taken online classes as part of their day. I think it's around 40% of students traditionally have taken at least one online course during their high school experience or within a year. So that is really a direction that we have been headed. And so we designed this again with the response to the pandemic, but also have our eye on the future, really meeting what we believe will be a demand for a high quality online school.
And I see a question here. What about asymmetrical learners? In other words, having high performers and reluctance in others. So I think this is a question, if I'm reading it correctly, like how do we address kind of a range of learners in our classes?
All right, I don't know if any teachers want to speak to the range of learners that show up in middle school classrooms. I know you all have experience with that. So.
I think it's all of our goals to meet students where they're at. Personally, I know that we're going to have a huge spectrum of learners, but I think that that's pretty typical for any classroom. And I think the goal is really just to get to know our students in a way that allows us the opportunity to differentiate as needed and to support student growth no matter where you're coming from. So we're looking forward to just get to know your students so we can learn and understand what they might need from us.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see, next question that came in, are there 3 different sections of students for each teacher?
So in the end, a teaching load for a middle school teacher is 4 sections as part of their kind of, as you think about their whole day, their teaching experience. So 3 of at each grade level, there are 3 sections. So 3 sections of each content area. So 3 sections of English 7, 3 sections of Science 7. And so there are those 3 sections. Teachers will also have a 4th section. It will be at a different grade. So teaching content with a different kind of age group coming through. So
a point of clarification,
Sorry, that was I don't know if you're on the one I'm on. The novel one, my fault. You are totally right. It's the one by Sharon G. Flake. I don't know what I was thinking, so I'll fix that. Thanks for.
Yeah, Sharon Draper is an excellent adolescent literature novelist, so she has many great books also. So most likely you went off of Sharon there. So.
Will the GT content be different than the other groups and clusters? I'm happy to take this. No, so Bloomington Online School does not have a separate gifted and talented program. Therefore, they don't have a separate curriculum for gifted and talented students. However, what we've done is cluster those students together so that the teacher may work with them to differentiate their learning. And just like Ms. Haas said, meet the students where they are and really dig into their interests and their passions around learning. Nobel as well. When we say gifted and talented, we're talking about Nobel and DA cohorts clustered together in a class.
Yeah, I think I'll chime in too. Just looking at the teachers that are here, a lot of them have experience either teaching in a DA setting or also in a Nobel setting. So you do have plenty of teachers here that are experienced in those and will kind of probably differentiate their instruction to meet different learners' needs.
I just want to clarify, I misinterpreted the question before about our range of learners. The question from this parent is the same student who's performing well in some classes and maybe reluctant in some other classes, which as teachers, we have experienced and dealt with. Does anyone want to kind of talk about an approach there?
I'll just say that's kind of one of the challenges as a teacher when you're trying to work with students to figure out what it is that excites them, because we all know that some subjects are more interesting for us naturally than other subjects, but I know that there's all kinds of things within it. And I think that's part of the job, is helping students find those pieces that are just really exciting to them. And I get it. Like I said, there's a lot of range for things like that. but I think that's the goal. That's the challenge for us.
I think we hit the questions that I'm seeing. And it looks like
I think I see one last question. What are you most excited about for the year? Maybe we'll wrap up on that one. It's actually a planted question. I did that. So what are you most excited about for the year?
I'm going to jump in. I am most excited about becoming a learner with all of you. This is such a new experience for all of us. And we are so excited to go on this journey with you. We're so excited that your families have chosen this format for you for the year. And just knowing that we're going to be together and we are going to learn a lot, and we need to communicate and really get to know each other well is what I'm the most excited about.
All right. Anybody else? I'm really putting the pressure on you here before we go to that last question for Ms. Harp.
So I'll say that it sounds weird to say this, but last year when I started, well, it would have been a year ago this week, I was teaching in a construction pod, and it was the tiniest little thing ever at Valley View. And I have to say that this actually is more exciting for me than that was. So yay, there's lots of good things out there for us to do. So I'm excited to try this.
Thank
too.
you, Greg.
It'll be fun.
And I think kind of the same. I'm just going to chime in. I'm just excited to do this new experience, this new way of school, this new way of teaching and learning with all of you. And so, yeah, I'm just excited for the year. And I'm excited that we're going to get the consistency and be together. And I'm excited for the launch program. I mean, there's just so many new things. And we have a really great team of teachers here that I'm also excited to get to work with, some that I've worked with before and some new. And I just think we have a really great team that we're here to support you and help you through this year and see where it takes us all.
All right. So on that, we will end this live broadcast. And I would say if you have questions, if you need to reach out, please feel free to do that. We're happy to answer your questions. And thank you very much for joining us.